Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, friends and gamers on the interwebs. It's Friday morning, and I am Rachael Blaske.
And I'm Julie Ahern.
And this is episode 9 of You're Invited. In this episode, Julie, VP and COO of Greenbrier Games, and myself, former CEO and owner of Poketto, but we'll get into that soon. We'll chat over a good cup of coffee, which I have here, and it is actually not cold because I've already refilled, and talk about the tabletop industry, a topic that we feel is important. But oh wait, this is a very different thing. Julie, what did we do?
Right. So this is the end of our first season. We decided that we were going to cap this so that we had kind of a way to plan for ongoing events, because when we started, it was kind of a, hey, let's do this cool thing. And then as we've started to get into it, it was, hey, maybe we should shape it a little bit better. So this is the end of season 1. And instead of talking about a specific topic, we're going to reflect on this past season to see what we liked and what we thought we could improve for future seasons.
And all the while, discussing your comments and questions in the live chat, because we want to hear those things because you were invited. So next up.
So the, sponsorships.
Yes. Well, we have Arcane Wonders, and this episode is brought to you by Arcane Wonders. That's on Kickstarter now with Freedom 5, Sentinels Comics, Comics, board game. I can't say comic book instead. Okay. And the newest game is in the Sentinels Multiverse and the Defenders of Realm game series. And right now it is funded at 918% on Kickstarter.
And also sponsoring, we have Kids Table Board Gaming, and they're bringing Creature Comforts to Kickstarter on November 17th. So coming soon in November. That is a challenge, and I wish them the very best of luck. In Creature Comforts, you work over several months to prepare your family home for winter. You collect resources, exchange goods in the market, get a helping hand from visiting travelers, craft comforts, build improvements, and create a home that will get you through the cold winter months to come. So timely.
Right? It sounds so cozy, like my scarf. All right. So also, we have been doing giveaways, and every week we ask a question on Facebook and Instagram. Every Monday. This week it was Wednesday. Everybody can agree that this was a week of weeks. So last week, Gwenna Rollison won Ninja Dice, and now you guys have one more chance to enter to win by sharing the stream right now. And any shares in the first 5 minutes will have another entry to win this week's giveaway of Architectura. Did I say that right?
Yeah, Architectura.
And the playmat.
With the playmat. So it's a 2 to 4 player game. It's super fun. It's a very light, easy to learn. 2 to 4 players. You're putting down tiles to try to build this in an abstract a city, but you're trying to get on each of the 4 sides. There's a number. You're trying to get your building or your art, whatever you're, to the highest number, meaning it's the best quality. And so all the cards are revolve around putting down your card in a way that either protects it or does it take that to the adjacent cards to turn them to a lower number for the opposing players. And then the play mat makes it just super pretty.
Awesome. And I would love to see a record number of shares, because this is a very exciting episode that we get to reflect and have some big news. So I'm going to go ahead and do my 10-second countdown. Here we go. That is so much fun. That just makes me happy. I like that a lot.
So now that we're getting into it, and this week in the news, usually I share the news, but this time it's going to be Miss Rachael sharing the news. Much like it's always great when you are the news, isn't it? Isn't it great?
I mean,
so exciting.
That's debatable. I mean, like, it's not always exciting.
Having gone through this with folklore, I actually have a lot of empathy right now. So I just wanted to say I appreciate the information you're about to share with us, and I think that it's very brave that you're doing so. So please let us know what's newsworthy this week, Rachael.
Well, so obviously the graphic here is showing you that there's a Poketto, and then there's a question mark on the next side. So I want to tell you guys that the last 2 years have been an incredible journey leading 524 Labs and then collaborating to rebrand to Poketto. The company's success is really encouraging, and I have felt warmly embraced by the industry and the gaming community as a whole. And I extend a heartfelt thanks to everyone at Poketto and everyone in the board game industry that has helped me flourish in my role and taught me more than I ever thought possible. And we talk about that a lot. So it is with gratitude for all that I've learned, but excitement for the future, that I announce my departure from Poketto. And I am thankful for the experience that I've gained as publisher and marketer. And I'm proud of what we've accomplished during my time at 524 and Poketto. And so now that I have decided to look for new opportunities, I'm very excited to see where the road leads me next.
I'm excited to see what you do next.
Whew,
I am super excited about it.
I am kind of excited to see how it all shakes out, but I am just happy to have a community that I'm able to tell you guys.
And I'm sure there are a lot of people up in the comments. There's some people who are showing a lot of the reactions that I'm feeling as well. Woo! Excited for you, grateful, thankful for you, but also look at those surprise faces.
Yes,
as well.
I love Cat Rider there. I mean, that's what I feel knowing that she's awake right now, because she's never awake at this time. So that's really, really fun. And I really appreciate this. I mean, again, this is probably just as important of a comment, because I really like the eyeshadow and stuff too. I am really.
Yep. Got the look down.
I know.
Very important. Now, I will say, it's kind of a cool thing. I know that this is when you're transitioning out of a job and looking for new opportunities, it can be quite daunting. But as entrepreneurs, and having just spent 8 weeks talking about how do you show self-structure and how do you plan your day and it's really cool, because knowing that and seeing that plan in action as you go and look and talk to other companies and look at new opportunities, having that background is super helpful. So that's also very cool.
Okay. Well, let's see. What do we have next here? We have our live notifications, which we are always talking about because you guys are able to click on the 3 dots in the upper right-hand corner, and you can always choose to be notified each time we go live. We do this every week. So we also have the link to the YouTube account in the description box, and you can like and subscribe there and find all of our archived shows after streaming. And this week, I even got on the Instagrams and figured out how to put it on IGTV so I can swipe up. I felt so techie. I know.
It was very techie, and therefore that made me an alien with green skin.
It was pretty great putting that out there. I mean, awesome. So our topic today that we asked over the week was, what questions do you have for us? Because it's our season 1 Q&A. And so we're going to reflect a little bit and show some clips from the past. But I want to know if you guys have questions that come up that we can discuss as we do it. So
that's right.
Let's see here. We've learned a lot over the season. It's been really fun. We were so nervous, and by we I mean me. the first episode, morning routine, that we actually got right into the topic before we even introduced ourselves.
That's right.
And so we did circle back, and
eventually we circled back. Yeah,
we did. We're like, oh,
right.
So Julie ended up introducing me, and we have that to take a look at here. And I love that the name of this clip is called Secret Weapon.
People addict and problem solver.
Yes.
You let well, and I have appreciated you talking about being on the gamma board. My secret weapon is you. The only reason I'm getting anything done is because I go, hey Rachel, I've got this problem.
Well,
and I want to fit. You go, let me take a poll and ask 5 million people what they think, and they think we should proceed this way. And here's some strategies. And here's 15 links that we can do as a jumping point. By the way, have you thought about? And I'm like, awesome. I'm gonna go get another cup of coffee. Thanks.
Yes.
Rachel's
Oh, that's glorious. Oh.
And it's still true. 2 months later, and it's still true. I really like, so over the course of this, that our enthusiasm has not diminished at all in the slightest. I think our organization of it has improved, and of course will continue to do so as we get more experienced in this. But yes. And yes, in the recording, it seemed very echoey. I'm not sure what's going on with the recording, but this is the first time we've put clips in. So it's a new learning curve.
Interesting. So I'm guessing that it was like that at the beginning as well, because we have coming up some screen sharing that I had to do. So I went ahead and muted the screen. So maybe that'll help us out. We'll see. And you guys just tell us during the playbacks how it goes. Did everybody understand the playback, or was it too garbled?
No, I could hear the echo, but it wasn't
too bad. Okay, cool. Awesome.
So I will say we did get a question from Drummond. There was a question, what was the most rewarding part of starting You're Invited? So Rachel, what do you think was the most rewarding part?
Oh, the Friday morning hug. Just being able to see everyone that I have missed so much, and to feel part of an active community where I can really, like emotionally, I'm like, oh, I don't think I could have gotten through the last 2 months without You're Invited, because it has just been such a glow in my week. So I hope that everyone else is feeling something like that, because I feel like I'm helping. I feel like people are learning things. I know Julie and I are both teachers at heart and teachers in real life. I'm just the heart, and she's the brains. And so, yeah, what about you?
Kind of the same. I think as this shelter in place has gone on, I have absolutely was becoming more and more withdrawn from and feeling so much more cut out from the game community. And what this has done is that, remembering all the people out there who I miss and care about, also miss each other, and being able to have this every Friday it's the same. It's having that to look forward to, so that I can kind of visit with everybody. Gives me a focus for the week and something to look forward to going into the weekend. And even I know like everybody's like, time is meaningless anymore, nothing matters. And
it's a good cap to the week.
It actually gives structure to my week, which was starting to get really out there. So it's been huge for that. And of course, getting to know you better and getting to work with you has been hilarious, and I love it.
Awesome. I'm glad that I can entertain you. Oh, well, cool. And so that was a great question. Thank you guys so much. Yes, John D's, I miss my convention family. And at least that there are conventions going on, but this just feels like a moment.
Yeah. So our second episode, Organizing Tips, we delved into a lot of tools that has kept this particular show, as well as our own individual business endeavors running. So one thing that I learned from Rachael was about focus blocks. So let's take a look back at that when she was talking about that. She was very passionate about it.
Focus blocks are your priority blocks. They are when you're creative, you're inspired, you are going to achieve your high value tasks. If you're a designer, you are ready to design. If you are an artist, you are feeling extremely creative and you can just bust out your illustrations, things like that. And the thing is that that's when you need to block out all your distractions, and it's 90 to 120 minutes. It's just like, everybody go away, and you've got that amount of time built in, and it is exhausting because you're really cranking it. And so you've got probably no more than 2 to 3 of those in you a day. And I think that like people think that you're going to achieve that 8 hours every day. I mean, it's not realistic. And just speaking of growth, look at my lighting. It's so much better. I don't look like that. Cool. No, I am super passionate about that. I agree.
So yeah, I am. Things like that, little chunks like that, where we get a little bit nerdy about our passions, is probably one of my favorite things about the entire series. So when, and they're different. What we are passionate about, what we get delve deep into, are so different. I'm more of a gearhead type of, like, I like the stuff that I can break down and analyze, and you are like the talking about how people, interpersonal and intrapersonal relationships, mm-hmm. and how people work together is, I've learned so much. And for the record, having a master's in education, I had to take courses on it, and you're telling me things I'm like, I didn't know any of that. So it's really cool to see us be able to delve deep. And so one thing that I know we've started to talk about working on in the future is taking maybe asides to do an even deeper dive on some of those topics. Because for me, now that I'm like doing the surface skim of certain topics, I realize how much more I know and feel like other people might want to hear about, which is really cool.
I know, it's just, I feel like it's just this drink of clean water, or like breath of fresh air, where you can learn something that maybe is presented from a different perspective, because I highly value all of the different approaches that are all over the industry, because we've all had to be so creative getting into this.
True. Absolutely true. So I'm seeing some really silly things. Dora the Explorer music playing in the background, but I don't know if we've had any more questions. Love the deep dives.
Cynthia sniped me with the I was like, okay, Dora the Explorer, okay, and then love the idea of the deeper dives. Absolutely, Cynthia, that is a little bit about what we're going to talk about in season 2 as we tease that here at the end of the episode.
One of the really gratifying moments was you had a moment where there were a couple people, after I went through my still brief but kind of long for our segment discussion of 3D printers, it sparked a whole conversation separately, that like a back and forth about information that was awesome. And I was like, and it was funny because they're like, can you tell Julie, all these other things? And I was like, yes. Mm-hmm. Those are all true. I can't do it in a 5-minute, which I pushed to like 8-minute segment. But they were super cool because at least it sparked a conversation, which is really what I'm hoping that happens on a lot of the stuff that we do. And Kurt just had one suggestion that I think that's amazing.
I saw that too. I was like, oh, do you see that, Julie? Mm-hmm. Yes, mm-hmm. That's great. Okay. So basically market research.
Yep. Which you can relate in live time.
I love that. Yeah. All right. Well, very cool. All right. Yeah. So.
And then in the 3rd episode, Confessions of Inadequacy, which was hard. And it was hard for different reasons. Because Okay, so talking how you feel you failed is great for growth, but doing it and being honest with yourself and taking a good look in the mirror and being like, here's the real pros and cons is scary. And doing it with an audience is yet another layer. But I think that we had some really good moments in that, specifically when we were talking about balancing work-life balance, which again is really hard, even more so I think during this time period. So we had two different sections that we were going to do to show both of our takes on that.
Yeah, that was so good. Let me see here if I can get that to work. And for mine, I wanted to talk about work-life balance because that's an ongoing thing that everybody talks about. And I know a lot of people who struggle with this. There is a work culture, a work ethic culture that, and when you work from home, it's very easy to blur the lines. Um, I have said many times in the past few years that I wish that I just went to work and came home and it was done. And then I could go back to work the next day and then leave it there. And I don't function that way. And one of the parts of my personality that are that I'm passionate, I am enthusiastic, and I am focused. But there's only so much of me, and so I am those three things about one thing at a time. And it is easy for me to ignore the rest of the the aspects of my life. And that's not fair. And so I fail in that a lot. And I heard an analogy. This was discussed in a Georgia Tech commencement address by Brian Dyson, the CEO of Coca-Cola. And he talked about juggling balls in the air for the different parts of your life. And he talked about how there's 5 balls. One is spirit, one is health, one is family, and one is friends, and the 5th one is work. And he talked about how 4 of them are glass balls and 1 is rubber. So if you drop any of your glass balls, it can be irrevocably damaging. I said a good word.
You did it. That was like a 95-cent word. That was amazing.
I need more coffee. Irrevocably. Yes, awesome. Cool. I feel very awesome right now. Okay. So drop your spirit, you are at a dead stop. Drop your health, you're at a dead spot. None of these and drop your family, you're going to be at a dead spot. Your friends, and work is the rubber ball. It bounces. It can be reorganized in terms of its order, and often we treat it like the glass ball. And I think that if I keep that in my mind, I will do better. Because right now everything is glass in my head, and my kids are glass. My health, I just, and of course work. Like, this is super important to me. I'm passionate about this. I'm excited about this. I'm focused, and I drive you crazy all week talking about what we're going to talk about on Friday.
You do not drive me crazy. Stop.
The introverts that is losing the energy from talking to me 24 hours a day. I understand. So this is something I struggle with. And I know that this is a common thing. And so I wanted to bring that up because I'm not good at this. And it's something I struggle with every day, and just wanted you guys to know that. Oh, all right. That was a lot. Woo! I feel so exposed.
But the analogy was a great one, and I think it's still pertinent. And I actually love coming back to it because just talking about Friday being a focal point to keep those priorities in check. And of course, I had a different take on it.
Yes, and I'm trying to get it to work because this is all exciting here. Hang on a second. And
You have
So
amazing
I had a
thought on
different
that.
perspective. Right. I've also read that analogy. And one of the things for me that on the surface, it sounds great. And it also is very reminiscent of what my father always would tell me, which is think of a clock as a pie chart, and how much of that pie is devoted to work, how much of that pie is, and that can change from day to day, but you only have that many hours and you have to determine which one gets the bigger piece of the pie on any given day. And it had that same kind of feel. It's a bite-sized, easy to keep in your head thing, but really life isn't that simple. I offer the alternative from the book Stretched Too Thin: How Working Moms Can Lose the Guilt, Work Smarter, and Thrive, which I think would be a great read for you and anybody out there, not just working moms, but working parents. So we're juggling 5 balls, but in reality, we're not. That's my, from last week, break it from big problems down to smaller problems. We're juggling 55 balls any given day. And some of those are work balls, and some of those are family, and some of those are friendship, and some of those are self-care. And of those, some of them are rubber and some of them are glass. So the ballet, dance recital that your child has been practicing for, and tonight is the night, and it's their debut, and they have a lead, that's glass ball. You promised to make peanut butter and jelly sandwich with the crust cut off, and you didn't get to it, that's a rubber ball. Mm-hmm. So family doesn't always have to be glass. Work doesn't always have to be rubber or glass. Know which ones, and know you're going to drop some of them always, and forgive yourself for it, because you know that your family is going to forgive you for it, and make sure that you're in a position where your work will forgive you for it. And that is a bigger challenge, because work does act like it is a glass ball. So it's not just we put it on ourselves. We are in a society that tries to do that. So make sure that you are trying to promote an environment where, tell me what the glass balls are, so for me, Jeff will pile on the, I need this, I need this, I need this, I need this. And I just laugh and I go, which one do you need the most? Because that's the one you're going to get today. Mm-hmm. So being able to know that and communicate it and not feel bad about it is my, I am good at setting boundaries. I also love working over work, but I am good at setting boundaries of, this is what I can do. This is what I can accomplish. Or I said I could accomplish this and I can't, and I'm sorry. How do we move forward? Not how do I beat myself up? So that is my alternate perspective on that.
So good. You're so sage.
Aren't I, Jess? I also scratch my nose a lot, which is weird.
Oh, I didn't notice that. I was too busy being overwhelmed by all the things I need to do.
I think they say that when you're nervous, the blood goes to your face a lot more. And for me, that makes my nose itchy.
Man, well, we're getting better about being nervous. I mean, this has been really a long journey. And man, I loved those early episodes, even though they were hard. And it just makes me really excited about the whole season.
Yeah, I know.
It's so cool. So what was your favorite? Like, what out of this whole thing? Like, we covered so much. I put it in the description box, like all the different episodes. And I even had it on social media this week. We had morning routine. We had like, I don't have it in front of me, but we did a myriad of topics. Some were more relatable than others. For the whole season, what's your takeaway?
For the whole season, my takeaway was reflection is amazing, not just for this Q&A session, but the fact that we made a point after every episode to sit down and look through every episode and say, what was good, what was bad, what can I improve? And learn and grow, because constant growth is one of the best things in the world that you can do. You
Yeah.
know, you don't have to beat yourself up if you don't achieve greater or higher everything, but if you get to learn every day, that's a gift.
That's true. I think that mine again is the self-reflection of I forgive myself for making mistakes. I am a huge perfectionist. I love putting on a good product, a good show, or whatever it is. I want it to be the best. And when you do something like this, there's a huge degree of vulnerability, and that can make you grow and learn. And like we said, we made a point after every episode. You know, if it was 10 minutes or 5 minutes, whatever we had going on, we're like, okay, what worked best? What can we improve on next time? What is what's the takeaway from the technical part of running a show? But on top of all the facts that we are learning about all of our topics.
Yeah.
So let me see. Let's look at our comments, because I saw a really cool one that Price ordered the book.
Right. It's not just for moms. I know that that's what it was described. That's going on a clip. I know. Described as.
I was like, I want to replay. Oh, wait, no, I'll make that happen.
Yeah. But it actually is really useful. I'm not even a mom. I'm an aunt, but I do a lot of aunting, and I feel like making sure that I set time aside for my family is still super important to me. So you have to make it a priority. And how do you do that? And still forgive yourself that you're not getting to everything you want to get to.
Right.
Ha, Katie.
Yeah.
I love you, Katie.
I love it. Oh, man. And Allison, she's loving the reboot. She is like, oh, all the key tips. And these are from the early ones. Like, I kind of hit a point where I wasn't able to do all the clips after a while. And I'm glad that we have these from the very beginning, because they are still really, really good. I like everything like that. Oh, Tara is asking, what is the name of the book again?
Yeah, it's in episode 2, and I know that if you jumped at, like, if you scroll through our You're Invited, I'm almost positive I put a link to Amazon to the book there, because it was a very long title, and I'm not going to remember it off the top of my head. I do apologize.
Right. Well, cool, man.
Yeah. So this has been really great. And I will say, now that we've looked at all these comments and we have our takeaways, looking forward what's been going on this week?
Yes, you've got this.
Oh, that's right. Because this week is very busy for you as well, but we've already discussed it.
Yeah,
so this week for me.
I'm taking a pass on mine, because I covered that earlier. That's what's going on with me. And now?
So this week, Lost Ones Kickstarter is over. Deep sigh, inhale, exhale, and immediately move back into Tales of Barbaria, because my goal was to get all of the playtesting and revisions done before the Lost Ones Kickstarter started, and that was a very ambitious goal. And I got all the playtesting done, but I did not get all of the edits. So this week I'm trying to finish up all the revisions that we did based on playtesting and get that done. Pledge Manager is open, and of course we're going to be playing it for Extra Life. So
yes.
Extra Life with Chris, who's watching.
Yes, Chris Goodlet. He is doing a massive Extra Life tomorrow, and that's the huge list of the Gameathon. And I signed up to play with Julie Tales of Barbaria, so you get more of our ridiculous dynamic that night.
So yeah, so we're gonna be playing the tabletop simulator 4-player version of this 2 to 6 player game, which is cute and stabby, and you are a village of bears who is trying to be the meanest, toughest, most viciousest bears in all of Barbaria and gain the most glory, so that Bear Hala will sing your praises.
I love it. Dive all the way in.
Oh, I mean, I'm rusty because I jumped over to Lost Ones, but my bear pun game
Oh,
is pretty strong. So
pun game is important when you're in this business. I'm
right,
telling you.
we'll ramp back up by tomorrow evening, I'm sure.
Excellent. And I also
We have a shout
um,
out.
have a shout out for Mrs. Debbie Moynihan. She is amazing, and I wanted to introduce her to you guys. She's the COO of White Wizard Games, home of Star Realms, and a million other amazing games, but that's what they're most well known for. And she's very active in the gaming community. I have no idea. I think that she's perfected cloning because she is everywhere at all times. And she's a very dear friend of ours. And we decided she's going to join us occasionally here on You're Invited as a host. So we decided that we're going to try and start building in flexibility because, people get sick every once in a while. So we need some alts, and we want to bring on an extra perspective once a month for you guys. So
That's absolutely true. Looking forward to having Debbie on because she is incredibly knowledgeable as well. And that was something that we've, going through and, staying healthy, but having, talking about the what if something were to happen, which is a scary conversation, another scary conversation, but one that needs to be had, big picture what happens, but also specifically for this, wanting to be prepared and planning in advance. And immediately we were both like, Debbie.
Yes, instantly. That was our immediate go-to. So, well, we do have a lot more coming up, and it is going to be amazing, I think. This is something that we recorded for Bits and Bobs a while ago. So it was pretty hilarious to be in all of our big warm scarves in August, but we did it for you guys. So here you go. This is our teaser coming up for November. Hey there, friends out on the internet. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Julie, and we're here to tell you about what's coming up this month on You're Invited. So there are some topics, people. We have some stuff. We started with the light overview, easing you in, but now we're starting to dig a little deeper. So this month, we've got everything from making prototypes to finding playtesters for your design. So what do you got for us, Rachel?
I am totally excited. I cannot wait to get into the nitty-gritty of operations. We have great tips coming on how to track progress on playtesting designs, game making itself, trying to figure out components and whether or not you should make an in-office prototype or outsource to a no minimum manufacturer. So lots of things to talk about.
Yeah.
What's on your mind?
Well, you covered a lot of what we're going to go over, but I'm looking to the end of the month. And one of the biggest things for us is Black Friday. So I can tell you that if you're in retail, any sales for your games should have already been communicated by now to mass market, to distribution, to brick and mortar stores. And so if you are watching our actual show when we get there to it at the end of the month on Black Friday, we're really setting you up for next year because that ship has sailed. But what you can do right now is make sure you're starting to advertise your holiday sales for your online stores, as well as promote any sales that you did set up for online sales through Amazon or for retailers. So also remember to make sure to maximize your newsletter, send out a flyer, and everybody else is going to be doing the same. So make sure you make it unique, stand out, make it fun.
I just saw a little bit of Teacher Julie coming out right there.
A little bit.
Yes. So while we're working on our online flyers, you guys should be looking for us on Friday mornings at 10:30 Eastern.
Follow us on Facebook, tune into our shenanigans, and remember, you're invited.
Love how much we've grown.
Cotton candy everywhere.
You're so fluffy. I love it.
So thank you so much for hanging out with us. This awesome session was sponsored this week by XYZ Game Labs, and we love them almost as much as we love you.
It's true. And you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Pinterest. All of those links are in the description box below.
Enjoy your Friday and your weekend. And remember, next week, new season, you're invited.
Mwah! You're invited, everyone.